Thank you, Mary Jane. I know. Maybe when she's done, some will come over here. We'll give people a chance to jump in, hear the song one more time. Hi, everybody. Thank you for the compliment, Derek. Love you guys. Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming over. Hi. Hi, everybody. I got to show off my cup. Here it is. Is that just radical? It's so cute. I got it from Maria G for Christmas. I opened it just today. Well, I got it just today. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jean, just a small town girl. Derek, Criminal Med, Lulu, the Kiki, Santa D, Art Ghost Show, Mary Jane, Tattooed Angel. Thanks, you guys. All right. I got the purple eyeshadow going today. I'm trying to do different eyeshadows too. Thank you. Yeah, it's really, really nice. It was in one of those foam, square bubble foam things. And it made it not broken or anything. She asked me to take a picture of it, so I sent her a picture. Thank you. Yeah. Gosh, people are so nice to me. Thanks, everyone. So I was on Team Rose's, not on, in her chat earlier, and that was fun. And Ernie Shell's up there, and they're chatting away, but she could go, especially with him on panel, another 2 hours for all I know. So, yeah, so I thought I would start because I'm an old lady and I get tired. But right, we're only as young as we feel. Oh no, we're only as old as we feel. Hi, everyone. All right, before I forget, oh, by the way, I'm up to 1,319 subs. I'm so excited, you guys. Or 18. I just need 2 more to make 1,320. So if somebody hasn't subbed to me and you have the desire to, please partake. Please imbibe. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. So, and I forgot to read my Don't Sweat the Small Stuff yesterday thing, but that's okay. I'll do that today. I think we're on chapter 3 at the end. Tina getting sick. Hi, Lori Saccone. No, I just haven't talked a lot today. I slept till 2:30ish because I go to bed so gosh darn late, sometimes 5 in the morning, sometimes 4. And then the kittens will wake me up and I'll go back to sleep. They like to sleep in here, but run all over the house during the day now. They're out there too. So I don't think I'm sick. I hope I'm not coming down with a cold or anything like that. So yeah, so my voice sometimes is kind of higher than other times. It almost gets stuck there. But also it's like the bedding in my guinea pig cage. Yesterday I could hardly breathe. When I was doing my live, I was like, it was like getting stuck or not stuck. You know what I mean? Anyway, I opened the window and then I could breathe. And right now there aren't kids that are too loud, which is nice. So we will crack the window. All right, you guys. Thank you. Thanks for everyone being here. I'm having a hair moment, of course. All right. So this is about a co-pilot. I heard this story roughly a year ago. His name is Andreas Gunther Lubitz. And he was dealing with some extreme depression and other mental issues, which I'm sure we'll probably cover. I never know what I'm going to pull up. I usually pull up the Wikipedia story and then show bits of film. But this is very, very tragic. I mean, to get on an airplane. And then I was like, well, you know, people travel around Christmas and Christmas Eve. Should I even show this? Should I wait till after Christmas? But this is pretty darn rare. I mean, they think maybe, right, the Malaysian flight was due to the pilot wanting to, you know, unalive himself, or at least that's what people are speculating now. They're just starting this past year. Was it this past? Oh, I just spit. Sorry. Just this past year, finding parts of the Malaysian, was it 350, you guys, in the Indian Ocean. And it's parts of the airplane. So why it crashed, I think they still don't really know. I mean, I watched a show on it. MAB Investigates did a whole show on it. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. So if someone can remember to put the trigger warning in before he decides to crash his airplane, or I'll try to remember, whatever. Yeah, that crash is so strange. Did you hear about this? All right. So he was a co-pilot, Andreas Gunther Lubitz. He was born on December 18, 1987, and he was raised in Neuburg in der Donau, Bavaria, and Montabaur in the German state of Rhineland-Palatinate. He took flying lessons at Luftsport Club Westerwald, an aviation sports club in Montabaur. Okay, what's happening? Okay. Okay, the Germanwings flight 9525 was a scheduled international passenger flight from Barcelona El Prat Airport in Spain to Dusseldorf Airport in Germany. The flight was operated by Germanwings, a low-cost carrier owned by the German airline Lufthansa. On March 24, 2015, the aircraft, an Airbus A320-211, crashed 62 miles northwest of Nice in the French Alps. Thank you. All 144 passengers and the other 5 crew members were MUR-DER-ED'd. The crash was deliberately caused by the co-pilot Andreas Lubitz, who had previously been treated for suicidal tendencies and declared unfit to work by his doctor. Lubitz kept this information from his employer and instead reported for duty. Shortly after reaching cruise altitude, and while the captain was out of the cockpit, Lubitz locked the cockpit door and initiated a controlled descent that continued until the aircraft hit a mountainside. Can you imagine? Like, think about it. What would be worse? Going slow, going down. Some of the passengers seeing big mountains in front of them, knowing they're going to hit it. Or having a few seconds to realize you might die if you're going straight down. I don't know. Maybe it's both just as horrific. Aviation authorities swiftly implemented new recommendations from the European Union Aviation Safety Agency that required 2 authorized personnel in the cockpit at all times. But by 2017, Germanwings and the other German airlines had dropped the rule. Oh, I forgot that he was alone in the cockpit. The Lubitz family held a press conference in March 2017, during which Lubitz's father said that they did not accept the official investigative findings that his son deliberately caused the crash. By 2017, Lufthansa had paid 75,000 euros to the family of every victim, as well as 10,000 in pain and suffering compensation to every close relative of a victim. Wow. Okay. Hi, Sean B. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming over. Flight 9525 took off from runway 07R at Barcelona El Prat Airport on March 24th, 2015 at 10:01 a.m. It was 26 minutes behind schedule. It was due to arrive at Dusseldorf Airport by 11:39, according to the French National Civil Aviation Inquiries Bureau, the Bureau of Inquiry and Analysis for Civil Aviation Safety. The pilots confirmed instructions from French Air Traffic Control at 10:30. At 10:30, after crossing the French coast near Toulon, the aircraft left its assigned cruising altitude of 38,000 feet and without approval began to descend, rapidly. I thought it was slow. It was rapid. The air traffic controller declared the aircraft in distress after its descent and loss of radio contact. The descent time from 38,000 feet was about 10 minutes. Radar observed an average descent rate at around 3,400 feet per minute. Yikes. Attempts by French air traffic control to contact the flight on the assigned radio frequency were not answered. A French military Mirage jet was scrambled from the Orange Caratat Air Base to intercept the aircraft. Radar contact was lost at 10:40. At the time, the aircraft had descended to 6,175 feet and crashed in the remote commune of Prades-Haut-Bléon, 54 or 62 miles northwest of Nice. A seismological station of the SISMALP network, the Grenoble Observatory, 7.5 miles from the crash site, recorded the associated seismic event, determining the impact time as 10:41 a.m. Crash site. It's within the Massif des Trois Évêques. I don't know French. I'm trying. Massif des Trois Évêques. I don't know. East of the settlement Le Vernet and beyond the road to the Col des Mariades in an area known as the Ravine du Rosé. The aircraft crashed on the southern side of the Tête du Treves, a minor peak in the lower western slopes of the Tête d'Estrap. I'm butchering the French. Sorry for any French people in chat. I don't think I've had one yet. That would be really cool if I did today. All right. At an elevation of 1,550 meters. Yeah. The aircraft was traveling at 700 kilometers or 435 miles per hour when it struck the mountain. So I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but I think aircraft are about 500 miles an hour when they're lifting off the runways. So if that's the case and it was going 435 when it struck the mountain, it's really not that fast. I don't think. The site is about 10 kilometers west of Mount Semet, where Air France Flight 178 crashed in 1953. Gee. Gendarmerie Nationale and Sécurité Civile sent helicopters to locate the wreckage. The aircraft had disintegrated. The largest piece of wreckage was the size of a car. A helicopter landed near the crash site. Its personnel confirmed no survivors. The search and rescue team reported the debris field covered 500 acres. Good grief. I saw pictures of the victims. One gal was just in her young 20s. She might have been on there with her mother, or was she going to see her mother? Hi, LJ. Aircraft. The aircraft involved was a 24-year-old Airbus A320-211, serial number 147. It made its first flight on November 29, 1990. It was delivered to Lufthansa on February 5, 1991. The aircraft returned to Lufthansa in 2004, remained with the airline until it was transferred to German Wings till 2014. So it was 10 years old, and then 91. No, it's like 91, 2001. It was at least 14 years old. It had accumulated 58,300 flight hours on 46,700 flights. Wow. These are all the people that were on board, at least their countries. People on board were from Germany, Spain, Argentina, Kazakhstan, United Kingdom, United States, Australia, Colombia, Iran, Japan, Mexico, Morocco, Venezuela, Belgium, Chile, Denmark, Israel, Netherlands. Hi, sunshine. Hello, everybody. Crew and passengers. Among the passengers were 16 students and 2 teachers from the Joseph Kyong Gymnasium of Haltern am See, North Rhine-Westphalia. They were returning home from a student exchange with the Goethe Institute in Linares de Vallès, Barcelona. Haltern's mayor, Bodo Klimpel, described the crash as the darkest day in the history of the town. Bass baritone Oleg Brajak and contralto Maria Radner, singers with the Dusho Pra am Rhein. Yes. Yep, the famous opera singers were on there, a man and a woman. They perished, and 16 students that all went to this high school. Really sad. I mean, the kids were beyond devastated. I saw little videos videos of it on YouTube about 2 years ago. So Andreas Lubitz, the co-pilot. So, he's a co-pilot, but what? He was the main pilot, I guess, on this flight, or the only pilot. He was born on December 18, 1987. Okay, his birthday would have been yesterday, but he's no longer with us either. Was raised in Neuburg an der Donau, Bavaria, and Montabaur in the German state of Rhineland-Palatinate. He took flying lessons at Luftsport Club, Westerwald Aviation Sports Club in Montebar. I already said that a little earlier. Lubitz was accepted into a Lufthansa trainee program after finishing high school. In September 2008, he began training at the Lufthansa Flight Training School in Bremen, Germany. He suspended his pilot training in November 2008 after being hospitalized for a severe episode of depression. After his psychiatrist determined that the depressive episode was fully resolved, Lubitz returned to the Lufthansa school in August 2009. Lubitz moved to the U.S. in November 2010 to continue training at the Lufthansa Airline Training Center in Goodyear, Arizona. From June 2011 to December 2013, he worked as a flight attendant for Lufthansa while training to obtain his commercial pilot's license, and joined Germanwings as a first officer in June of 2014. Okay, so he had his first episode of severe depression in 2008, and this crash was in 2014, right? Is that what I said up here? No, it was in 2015. So 8, 6, 7 years later. Oh, you're getting a cold now? You went to a Christmas concert? Well, you guys, I don't know. I wear a mask. I mean, you know, I know not everyone agrees with it, but I do, because when you're in buildings or stores or anywhere where there's no ventilation, you're breathing all the particles of everyone else's talking, laughing, sneezing, everything. And I honestly believe that's why I haven't gotten a C yet. I've been really careful, and so are my kids. When we go into the office down here, because it's all enclosed and everybody that lives here goes into management and stuff, we have masks on. I'm just saying, I know a lot of should have stayed home. Oh, well, I hope it's just the cold or flu for you. Not that that's any fun. I hope you feel better soon, sunshine. Okay, so this is the investigation. The French Bureau of Inquiry and Analysis for Civil Aviation Safety opened an investigation into the crash. It was joined by its German counterpart, the Federal Bureau of Aircraft Accident Investigation. The BEA investigation was led by Arnaud Desjardins and was assisted by the U.S. Hours after the crash, the BEA sent 7 investigators to the site. These were accompanied by representatives from Airbus, CFM International. I think we'll find out later, but all the families were allowed to take, I believe, a helicopter up there to literally see the place where their loved ones perished on the side of this mountain, which I thought would just be, I couldn't do it. I mean, think about it. That would be indelibly in your brain forever. And then I'd probably end up having nightmares and all that, I think, but we'll see. We'll see if my memory is right about that. Okay, the cockpit voice recorder, which was damaged but still functional, was recovered by rescue workers and examined by the investigation team. The following week, Bryce Robin, the government prosecutor based in Marseille, announced that the flight data recorder, blackened by fire but still usable, had also been found. Investigators isolated 150 sets of DNA, which were compared with the DNA of the victims' families. Yikes. Hi, Stardust. Thanks. Cause of crash. According to French and German prosecutors, the crash was deliberately caused by the co-pilot Andreas Lubitz. Robin said Lubitz was courteous to Captain Sodenheimer. Okay. Yes. He was a co-pilot. I mean, that makes sense. Captain Sondenheimer was the captain. Okay, he was courteous during the first part of the flight, then became curt when the captain began the mid-flight briefing on the planned landing. Robin said that when the captain left the cockpit, possibly to use the toilet, Lubitz locked the door, preventing anyone from entering. Yeah, I believe on the cockpit recorder, you can hear the this main officer, captain guy, yelling and pounding his body up against the door. I mean, good grief. The captain had a code to unlock the door, but the lock's code panel could be disabled from the cockpit controls. The captain requested re-entry using the intercom. He knocked and then banged on the door, but received no response. The captain then tried to break down the door, but like most cockpit doors made after the September 11 attacks, it had been reinforced to prevent intrusion. During the descent, the co-pilot did not respond to questions from Marseille air traffic control, nor did he transmit a distress call. Robin said contact from the air traffic control tower, the captain's attempts to break in, and Lubitz's steady breathing were audible on the cockpit voice recording. So he never offed himself in there, right? He just sat there and was breathing, waiting. It sounds like. The screams of passengers in the last moments before impact were also heard on the recording. After their initial analysis of the aircraft's flight data recorder, the BEA concluded that Lubitz had made flight control inputs that led to the crash. He had set the autopilot to descend to 100 feet and accelerated the speed of the descending aircraft several times thereafter. The preliminary report into the crash was published 6 weeks later on May 6, 2015. It confirmed the initial analysis of the aircraft's flight data recorder and revealed that during the earlier outbound flight 9524 from Dusseldorf to Barcelona, Lubitz had practiced setting the autopilot altitude dial to 100 feet several times while the captain was out of the cockpit. Wow. So the final report into the crash was published March 13, 2016. The report confirmed the findings made in the preliminary report and concluded that Lubitz had deliberately crashed the aircraft as an SUICIDAL MURDER, the report stated. Thus, the collision with the ground was due to the deliberate and planned action of the co-pilot, who decided to commit SUICIDE while alone in the cockpit. The process for medical certification of pilots, in particular self-reporting, in case of a decrease in medical fitness between two periodic medical evaluations, did not succeed in preventing the co-pilot, who was experiencing mental disorder with psychotic symptoms, from exercising the privilege of his license. That was the final report from the BEA. Hi, Team Rose. Hi, Green Goblin / Rapper. Hi, Tashi. Yeah, I was over on your live team row, or not on it, in it. And I didn't know how much longer you were going to be on panel with Ernie Shell. So I didn't want to wait too much longer. I had waited, a few hours and listened in and what an interesting show you had. Wow. Yeah, it was good to hear Ernie's voice again and to know he's safe and well, you know. All right, investigation of Lubitz 3 days after the crash. German detectives searched Lubitz's Montabaur properties and removed a computer and other items for testing. They did not find an unaliving note, nor any evidence his actions had been motivated by a political or religious background. During their search of Lubitz's apartment, detectives found a letter written by a doctor indicating Lubitz had been declared unfit to work. German wing stated it had not received a sick note from Lubitz for the day of the flight. News accounts said Lubitz was hiding an illness from his employers. Under German law, employers do not have access to employees' medical records, and sick notes excusing people from work do not give information about medical conditions. So employers must rely on employees to declare their lack of work fitness. Well, I don't know what it is in the US and other countries, but I don't agree with that, right? Does anyone agree with that? Does anyone agree with me that mental records, I know they're private and all that, but I think they should be disclosed to the employers of at least a pilot and a co-pilot. Does anyone else think that? Put a 1 in chat. Hi, Halloween baby. Yeah, Green Goblin. He is a pretty cool guy, until you hear him talk. And like I said in Rose's chat, I followed him for like a whole year. When I first came upon him, he was just a man with a cap sitting in a dark car. And he was getting all this flack from people saying, you're just some homeless dude grifting off everybody. When basically he was, pretty much a private investigator / predator hunter nation, person. And then when I was watching his show, I don't know if it's a month or two later, or many months, or even a few weeks, or around that time, he was sort of leaving Predator Hunter Nation, as Team Rose knows, and doing his own thing, so to speak. He had been with them for 10 years. And, I saw the TikToks and I saw the footage and I saw how they went up to, men in parks that were trying to, elicit children and things like that. And, they're not the cops. They didn't arrest them, but they scared them enough with their like demeanor and appearance and the way they spoke that hopefully these guys didn't do it again, right? I mean, I don't know, but I saw them bust some uh, youth organization, or was he with the Boy Scouts even? He was like 21 or something. He was going to meet a kid in a parking lot. He was really scared. He just wanted to get into his pickup and drive off. But he stayed there and listened, and they filmed, I think, his license plate, things like that. And then another guy outside of some store that said he was just waiting for a bus and blah, blah, blah. And a couple older men at a park. And they never threatened them or anything. They weren't like, we're going to, beat your ass or anything. It wasn't anything like that. But, I think they pretty much knew they were being filmed, or maybe they didn't buy a phone. Or maybe it was a camera. I'm not really sure. But I found it really interesting. And the fact that he was a real bounty hunter for a while. And when people asked him, not, I think it was last Chris, well, people would like write in chats, uh, are you still licensed to be a bounty hunter or whatever? He said he was at that time, but it was going to be expiring sometime in December of, I think it was 2021. It might have been last year of 2022. But if he was some big scammer and liar and everything, he could have been like, oh, yeah. So, and he was constantly getting set up for stuff and constantly being followed, and he couldn't even go to a gosh darn restaurant or even McDonald's. He had to leave his family years back for safety reasons. He couldn't stay with a gal because of it. And he's a real nice man, an extremely hard worker. So, yeah, a lot of people love Ernie Shell. Okay. Okay, so the following day, hi, Chili Chick. Hi, Lisa Schenkel. Hi, everybody. Thanks, everybody. The following day, authorities again searched Lubitz's home, where they found evidence he suffered from psychosomatic illness and was taking prescription drugs. Criminal investigators said Lubitz's web searches on his tablet computer in the days leading up to the crash included ways to unalive yourself and cockpit doors and their security provisions. See, this is why they know, right, that it was all deliberate and all of that. And then by locking, the main pilot out when he went to use the bathroom. Yeah. And was the number 144 people perished? Was that the number? Now I can't remember. It was a lot. Let me take a gander. Yep, 144 passengers and 5 crew members. And they were MURDERED because he planned this thing. And in 2000, was it 6? Did I say 6 or 8? I think it was 6. Yeah, I think it was. Anyway, he had his first real bad episode of depression. But I don't know. It's like, okay, so Robin said doctors had told him Lubitz should not have been flying, but medical secrecy requirements prevented his physician from making this information available to German wings. Such secrecy should consider public safety, said BEA investigator Arnaud Desjardins. The investigation into Lubitz revealed his treatment for unaliving tendencies prior to his training as a commercial pilot, when he had been temporarily denied a U.S. pilot's license because of treatments for psychotic depression. For years, Lubitz had frequently been unable to sleep because of what he believed were vision problems. He consulted over 40 doctors, fearing he was going blind. Motivated by the fear that blindness would cause him to lose his pilot's license, he began conducting online research about methods of unaliving before deciding to crash Flight 9525. Okay. This is the Massif de Troyes Évêque, or however you pronounce it in French, mountain where the crash site lies. See, I mean, those mountains aren't even that incredibly high. So those people knew. That's why they were screaming. They knew the plane was going to crash into a mountain. Those passengers and stuff. It's just sick. This is a memorial at Dusseldorf Airport. So that's in Germany, where the plane was headed to from Barcelona. Barcelona, Spain to Dusseldorf, Germany. It left in the morning at 9:01 a.m. and was supposed to get to Germany at 10:30 in the morning and crashed. Or no, maybe it was 11:40 it was supposed to arrive, and it crashed at 10:31. And the German Wings headquarters, which is where the jet was from or whatever. This is in Cologne. Flags at half mast following the loss of flight 9525. The flags are kind of pretty. Thought you might like to see that. Oh, that's okay, Pam. Glad you're here. Hi, Chili Chick. Hi, everybody. I'm glad everybody's here. Anybody that can come by? Thank you for the compliment, Green Goblin. Thank you, everybody. Please hit the like. Okay, so the aftermath. French Minister of the Interior Bernard Cazeneuve announced that due to the violence of the impact, little hope existed that any survivors would be found. Then Prime Minister Manuel Valls dispatched Cazeneuve to the scene and set up a ministerial task force to coordinate the response to the incident. German Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier flew over the crash site, describing it as a picture of horror. German Chancellor Angela Merkel and Minister President of North Rhine-Westphalia Hannelore Kraft traveled to the crash site the following day. Merkel, Valls, Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy visited the recovery operations base at Saint-Les-Alpes. Bodo Klimpau, mayor of Haltern am See, reacting to the deaths of 16 students and 2 teachers from the town, said that people were shocked by the crash. Yeah, those students were like 16, 17 years old. Lufthansa Chief Executive Officer Carsten Spohr visited the crash location the day following the crash. He said it was the darkest day for Lufthansa in its 60-year history. Several Germanwing flights were canceled on 24 and the 25th March due to the pilots' grief at the loss of their colleagues. Germanwings retired the flight number 4U9525, changing it to 4U9441. The outbound flight number was changed from 4U9524 to 4U9440. In the days following the crash, Lufthansa at first said it saw no reason to change its procedures, then reversed its earlier statement by introducing a new policy across its airlines requiring the presence of 2 crew members in the cockpit at all times. Okay, but if one has to go to the bathroom, well, obviously that's allowed, but so I guess they're saying Hi, Mab Investigates. I guess they're maybe saying that some flights had back then just one pilot. Now it's always two. In response to the incident and the circumstances of the co-pilot's involvement, aviation authorities in some countries implemented new regulations that require the presence of two authorized personnel in the cockpit at all times. At all times. 3 days after the incident, the European Aviation Safety Agency issued a temporary recommendation for airlines to ensure that at least two crew members, including at least one pilot, were in the cockpit for the entire duration of the flight. Several airlines announced that they had already adopted similar policies voluntarily. But by 2016, the EASA stopped recommending the two-person rule, instead advising airlines to perform a risk assessment and decide for themselves whether to implement it. Germanwings and other German airlines dropped the procedure in 2017. Well, hold on here. This crash was in 2015. And you're telling me that some German airlines now are dropping that? Let me make sure. The crash, yeah, the crash was March 2015. And you mean to tell me that Germanwings and other German airlines dropped the procedure in 2017? And that by the following year, the EASA stopped recommending the two-person rule, instead advising airlines to perform a risk assessment and decide for themselves whether to implement it. Well, why don't they have both, you guys? Why don't they have two in the cockpit and do an assessment? And then it needs to be known. Hi, Deanna M. Hi, Julie Delk. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Julie, for your kind words in chat on Team Roses. I saw those, and everyone else. You guys were really sweet. Hi, Michelle Finch. Yeah, that's really good. Vitamin D is the one vitamin. Okay, this is what I heard on the news. I don't believe everything I hear, but I do respect and believe this doctor. Vitamin D can help prevent, more than even C, you from getting the C disease out there. But we're not going to talk about it in chat, you guys. We're not going to go there. We're not going to talk about the shots. We're not going to, okay? Because just 2 days ago, I had to trim up. I don't know if Team Rose even knows this. I had to go in. Well, I was sent a video by Maria G, thank God. And then I found one too. I had to go into YouTube Studio. It's not a big deal, but when you have no clue what hardly anything means, and I had to tip, I had to hit on customization, I think it was. And then in the menu, and then I had to go over and do something else, and then restriction, and then continue, and then this, and then I couldn't understand why only a minute was being trimmed. To me, that's not enough, right? Why do just 1 minute? But what it was is they were leaving a minute of the beginning of, what was his name? Danielle Sancho's Lovers, Murder, and dismemberment thing, right? So the part where he had to reenact it out with the police officers in Thailand, and people were giggling, kind of. I mean, it's not funny, but when he grabbed the policeman that was on the ground in the bathroom and was grabbing him by his legs and pulling him into the shower stall, all of that was deleted, a lot of it, because it's the media I didn't have permission from, and I don't even know if I asked with some URL, whatever thing, if I would have gotten it. It's their media, Intraz Media or something. And that's all because Maria G, that came up on her thing. It said Intraz Media copyright grounds. But I didn't get a warning. I didn't get a strike. They just took my video down. And I was like, oh my gosh. Now, maybe if I hadn't trimmed that out, spliced that out, I would have gotten one the next day or something by YouTube. But it's confusing because sometimes you get one right away by them, or maybe you don't get a strike right away. No, the strike is when you have a certain amount of warnings. Anyway, I have it written down in my notebook. But the point is, I hit the trim button and it would say, may take a few hours. So I went to bed, and then the next morning, in my comment section after my live, Maria G said, Tina, it's back on. You did it. I did it. I couldn't believe it. But what I'm learning is when I show my little videos, I'm not going to show foreign ones. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I'll show foreign ones if they're made like from America, if that makes any sense. No, I won't. As long as there's like foreign language and dialect in them or whatever, I'm not even going to do the 10 seconds at a time, because that was a 3.5 hour live, and the whole stream, I mean, and the whole thing was taken down. It was down. And I just thought, well, it's going to have to be down. So I went into YouTube Studio to see if I had a warning or anything, and I didn't. And then Maria G is the one that said, well, was it the music? You know, we were talking on Messenger. It was like 4 in the darn morning. And I said, no, that was from YouTube, that Nefex Addicted song that I had used. And then she said, is it the media? And then I typed in that word, Entrez or Entriaz or whatever, media. And sure enough, it came up Spanish media. And then I knew it was the Sancho case. And I was right. At least I have a little bit of brain left, huh? Oh, gosh. Okay, so the British Psychological Society issued a statement offering expert support in psychological testing and monitoring of pilots. The European Federation of Psychologists Associations issued a statement supporting psychological testing and the selection of pilots, but also stated it could not forecast the life events and mental health problems of individual pilots, nor could it predict the unique ways pilots would cope with these. It said priority should be given to psychological help for relatives and friends of victims in the aftermath of a disaster. CEO Spoor proposed random checks of pilots' psychological fitness and loosening of the extant physician-patient confidentiality laws. Loosening, major loosening, I think. The physician-patient confidentiality laws, you guys, for pilots, I think should be squashed. Don't you? Don't you guys think that? Oh, gosh. Politicians began echoing the call to loosen the laws in exceptional cases. The National Police Force in France, the National Gendarmerie, introduced a new set of support mechanisms to minimize the psychosocial risks to relief workers who deal with events such as Flight 9525 in their daily jobs. So, you know, each victim or each each family member of each victim got 75,000 euros, and each like friend that it impacted or something, I read earlier, got 10,000 euros for financial compensation. I'm not going to go through and read all that again. But he also, this man that crashed this airplane into the French Alps, did Lufthansa airline training in Arizona. So he lived in America for a while. Okay, so shortly after the crash, all right, I need a sip of my soda. Oh, you guys haven't seen this. Check it out. Guess who sent me this? Adorable cup. I've never had a color inside and white on the outside. Maria G for Christmas. I got it today. What? Is that a dog or a coyote? I'm not kidding. I hear literal howling, you guys. I'm going to bring you up to my window. Oh, good God. Listen to this. Okay, maybe it's a dog. And of course it stops now. My window is closed and I could hear arf, 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 like howling. And what did this fall off? Okay. My fake plant went bonks. All right, we got a kitty here. Which one are you? We got a kitty here. We got tulips down here. Hi, tulips. Hi, tulips. All right, they're all over the place. Oh, gosh. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Hi, Sandra Ernest. Oh, hi, Joseph Mazzota. Good morning. If it's morning for you, are you like, where are you? Is Mazzota? I wonder if that's Italy or Spain or I don't know. Mazzota. Because it's nighttime here. Well, it's 9. Yeah. My Washington State time, that's where I am. It's 9:41 p.m. So it's 10, 11, 12:41 for the East Coast. All right. So shortly after the crash, a memorial stone in memory of the victims was erected near the crash site in Le Vernet. The following month, about 1,400 relatives of victims, senior politicians, rescue workers, and airline employees attended a memorial service at Cologne Cathedral. The parents of Andreas Lubitz were invited to the service but did not attend. I feel bad for the parents. I mean, they were out of the loop. Ow! Ow, kitty. Owie. Ow. My cats are renamed. The dark one that used to be Shadow, my daughter renamed him or her Rain. Sally, the little girl that used to be Sally, is now, this is Rain. He just crawled into my lap. Is now Sunshine, and the other one is still Tulip. So we have Sunshine, Rain, and Tulip. He's going to curl up right there. Or she. See, I keep doing that too. If anybody wants to help me with my kitties, with litter, food, anything like that, ever, my PayPal and Cash App are up there. Wait, where are you? Where's your face? Are you over here? Wait, where are you? Are you, wait, oh, there you are. Wait, oh, God. Anyway, all right. The remains of 15 of the 16 school children and their 2 teachers arrived in their hometown of Haltern for burial 2 months after the crash. Residents held white roses as the hearses passed the children's school, where 18 trees, one for each victim, had been planted as a memorial. In Dusseldorf, on the same day, the remains of 44 of the 72 German victims arrived for burial. Arrows on the victims' death certificates had caused errors on the victims' death certificates had caused a delay. In September 2017, a sculpture called Sonnenkugel, which stands for Sun Sphere, was installed at the site of the crash. Okay, I didn't know that. 2017, a sculpture right at the site of the crash. It consists of 149 gold-colored aluminum plates, which form a sphere around a crystal-shaped column. The column holds 149 wooden spheres, which in turn hold personal mementos provided by the victims' family members. Gosh, you guys, because 144 died and 5 crew, so really 149 died. So the column holds 149 wooden spheres, which inside those hold personal mementos provided by the victims' family members. Wow. So 2 years after the crash, the Lubitz family held a press conference. Literally on the day of the crash, March 24th, but 2017, 2 years later, said the family did not accept the official investigative findings that Andreas Lubitz deliberately caused the crash or that he had been depressed at the time. Aviation journalist Tim van Beveren published a report which asserted that Lubitz could have fallen unconscious, that the cockpit door lock had malfunctioned on previous flights, and that potentially dangerous turbulence had been reported in the area on the day of the crash. Van Beveren had been commissioned by the family and was present at the press conference. The timing of the press conference by Lubitz's father on the anniversary of the crash was criticized by families of the victims who were holding their own remembrances on that day. Yeah, I don't blame them. That's not right. I mean, out of all the days, right? Okay, this is a mass grave in La Vernay Cemetery for the unidentifiable remains of the victims. The names of all 149 victims are engraved on the cemetery wall. The kitty's right here, and I can't even get it in. There we go. See all those names in the background. Gee. So darn it. So it was a big jet. This is the jet, German wings, big airplane. All right, who is Andreas Gubitz? I'm going to show a minute 58-second film and stop it in between the 10 seconds at a time. Hi, Undercover. Hi, Janae. Hi.
The house where Andreas Lubitz's parents live in the German town of Montabaur, shuttered and guarded by police. Men, perhaps investigators, the only ones granted access.
Und kannten Sie den Herr Lubitz?
We were told the grandparents lived in this nearby house, but they're unwilling to speak about the man French prosecutors say may have deliberately crashed Flight 9525. I ask if they're relatives. No,
Hold
thank God.
on.
We're not, they say, getting into a police car. We're just trying to get away. But gliding was clearly a passion for the young Lubitz.
Between the ages of 12 and 14, Lubitz was a regular fixture at this gliding club on the outskirts of Montabaur, where a senior member described him as a regular kind of teenager and one who was committed to following his dream.
A very normal young person full of energy, he says. What can I say? He had a bright future. He made his hobby into his job. What more can you hope to achieve? German Wings said Lubitz had 630 hours of flight time behind him, that he trained at the Lufthansa Academy in Bremen. But Lufthansa's...
All right. This is CNN. I think I've done CNN before. If I stop it, talk in between. Well, I read my copyright news thing already, so.
CEO told journalists there had clearly been some kind of a break.
There was an interruption with regard to the training, and after then the candidate managed to go through, he continued his training. He then also passed all medical tests, all flight examinations, and all checks.
Whether that break holds the key.
Yeah, I'm trying, Deanna. The kitten just moved over for me.
To this horror, we don't know. The clues from the black box as to Lubitz's psychological state as the plane went down, simply that he was silent but breathing as the pilot knocked desperately on the cockpit door. Diana Magne, CNN, Montabaur, Germany. For marine proteins enriched by...
Stop. All right, this is another quick little film. I'm not trying to, well, glorify isn't the word. I don't mean to keep talking about the pilot. I'll get to some of the, or not some of them. I'll find the victims and pictures soon. But this shows different air footage through the mountains. It's kind of pretty, kind of interesting, but rather depressing knowing that's where the crash was. So
Andreas Lubitz, the co-pilot who it appears deliberately crashed a Germanwings Airbus A320 in the French Alps on Tuesday. On Friday, a German prosecutor said the 27-year-old had been issued a doctor's note excusing him from work the day of the crash. Apparently, Lubitz tore it up and didn't inform Lufthansa. Lubitz lived in an apartment in Dusseldorf. Investigators have carried out a search but found no suicide note. They've also given no indication of a political or...
They just said the word SUICIDE on my show. Well, it's one time, so I mean, you know. All right, here we go.
Or religious motive behind the crash. Investigators also searched his parents' place in Montbauer. Lubitz joined the LSC Westerwald Flying Club in Montbauer, his hometown, when he was about 14. There, he started gliding. Members of the club this week are in shock, describing him as a calm, responsible man. Club chairman, Klaus Radke, said that Lubitz was one of the few members who was able to make his hobby his profession, but not everyone can get through what's involved. Aviation.
Okay.
And so on. Lubitz was a keen runner. In 2007, he came 72nd in a 10-kilometer race involving nearly 800 other competitors. Here, he can be seen taking part in the Lufthansa Half Marathon in Hamburg in 2009. Some of Lubitz's training was carried out here at Airline Training Center, Arizona, a facility owned by Lufthansa. Chief executive of the company, Carsten Spohr, said Lubitz began training at their pilot school in Bremen in Germany in 2008, but that he stopped training for a number of months the following year. Lufthansa don't know why. Only that he was tested again for flight fitness on his return. Lubitz joined German Wings in 2013 and had logged 630 hours of flying time.
Oh, shoot. I thought it was on mute.
On Friday, Germany's Federal Aviation Office said Lubitz had a medical condition noted in his pilot's medical certificate. They haven't yet said whether it relates to his mental or physical health, as the information is confidential.
Well, when was that?
It's amazing.
Oh, God. Stop. All right, so these are some of the victims that were on that flight. There's 8 there. On the flight, there were babies, exchange students, 2 opera singers, football reporters, and a Pentagon contractor. There were 18 countries on board. I said them earlier in my show. Although most were Spanish or German, here are some of their stories. This was the Joseph Kong Gymnasium, where those 16 students went, and 14 girls and 2 boys and 2 of their teachers from Joseph King's school in Haltern, Western Germany, were traveling back from a Spanish exchange program on the Germanwings flight. As many as 40 pupils had wanted to go on the trip, and the school decided to hold a lottery to identify the 16 who would eventually go. Local German media reported. Oh, I'm good. Hi, Selena. Thank you. I'm good. I watched some of Team Rose's show earlier, and I hopped over to Rebels and was there for nearly all of his show. And then before Team Rose would end, I hopped over there, and then I hopped back, and I was only gone off Rebels maybe 5 minutes, because I want to support everybody. Let's see. Okay, so, So they held a lottery to identify the 16 who would eventually go. Local German media reported their Spanish counterparts had visited last year. A girl in the group nearly missed her flight after she forgot to bring her passport. She rang her host family, who rushed 30 miles to the airport, delivering it just in time to allow the students to board the plane. Oh my gosh, are you serious? See, students were just devastated, you guys. I can't get much closer because the kitty's right there. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this is the Australian mother and son. Carol Friday is her name. She was 68, was a nurse, and her 29-year-old son, Grieg, an engineer. They were on holiday in Europe before Grieg was due to start a teaching job. Carol was a loving mother of 2, a devoted wife to her husband Dave, and a sister to 3 brothers. Grieg was to have turned 30 on April 23rd. And this is them. He was a loving son to Carol and Dave, and an exceptional brother to his sister, Alex. He was adored by all of his family and friends. So they were both on that plane together. Hi, hippie grandma. Hello. Wow. 3 generations of one Spanish family passed away. 3 members of his family. This man right here. Poor thing. Oh my gosh, I said poor thing, and look, it came up on there. So I hit the microphone and didn't even know it. What's up with that? That's kind of... Jehovah's again. The small town of Sant Cugat de Val near Barcelona is mourning the loss of 6 residents or local employees, among them 3 generations from the same family. Juan Padro lost his ex-wife in the crash. His daughter, granddaughter, both called Emma, also died. He told reporters in Barcelona, "There's nothing that can be done or that anyone can say that changes the fact that I have lost such loved ones. It makes no difference to me whether it was an accident or whatever. For me, I don't want to know. It doesn't interest me." 12-year-old Emma was the youngest member of the family to lose her life. She studied at a local middle school and had been a member of a tennis club. Flags have been flying at half-mast in the town, and a minute's silence has been held. Marina Bandres Lopez Baleo from the UK. This woman from the UK. Well, hi, Tony. Long time no. Oh, that's Tams. Hi, Tams. I thought you were Tony. He doesn't come over here anymore. I mean, it's okay and everything, but I don't know. Marina Bandres Lopez Baleo and her 7-month-old son. Oh, you're kidding, you guys. Her 7-month trigger warning. Adults, kids, babies. Her 7-month-old son, Julian Pras Bandres, were on the flight, her husband said. She is a Spanish citizen, but had been a resident of Manchester for 7 years. Marina was an editor and colorist in film and video post-production. Powell Pratt said his wife and son were in Spain for her uncle's funeral. Hi, Art. Thank you. All right, you guys. He couldn't find an eraser, and I knew right where they were, in the kitchen drawer. That's so sad. Okay, so she went with her son to Spain for her uncle's funeral. She bought the tickets at the last moment and decided to return to Manchester quickly, as she wanted to return to her daily routine as soon as possible. Okay, this guy is Paul Andrew Bromley, and he was due to fly back to the UK through Germany. Man, that's really loud. Can you hear that, you guys? That's the water like running through our pipes. I think my daughter's taking a bath. All right, anyway, this man, another one that passed away. This is at an angle because the cat's here. Originally from Hull, Paul, 28, was studying hospitality and hotel management at Caesar Ritz College in Lucerne. He had just finished his first year at the college and was on holiday with friends from Barcelona before flying back to the UK through Dusseldorf. And there's this guy, Martin Matthews from the UK. I'm assuming Martin is the guy there. Martin Matthews, a 50-year-old from Wolverhampton, was a senior quality manager. Yep. He is thought to have been traveling to Germany for a business meeting. So his wife, his son, and daughter here miss him terribly, I'm sure. He leaves behind a wife, Sharon, and 2 children, Jade and Nathan. Okay, here are the 2 opera singers. Hi, Lisa V. Hi there. Hi, everybody. These are the 2 opera singers that perished in that flight, on that flight. See? Luce Barcelona Opera House deeply mourns the death of Oleg Brizhak and Maria Radner. Good night, Katie. Good night, good night, Katie. Oh, nuts. What's happening? Oh. Oh, gosh. Slightest little bump and I lose my page. All right. So obviously, we're not going to go through every single one. These were the 8 that was on the picture. Maria Radner, 34, had performed in Richard Wagner's Siegfried at Barcelona's Grand Theatre de Luz. The theater said Radner, along with her husband and baby, were on the plane. Radner was born in Dusseldorf, had performed at the Metropolitan Opera in New York as well as in London and other locations, according to her biography on Italartist Astro Concert, a talent management company. Just before her death, she was described as a rising star of Wagnerian opera. And this guy, Oleg Brizhak, had traveled the world performing. He was 54. He was born in Kazakhstan, had performed in Paris, Zurich, London, Los Angeles, and other cities. That man, that opera singer. Yeah. Okay, the captain. There's little known about the captain, it says here. Little Little is known about the man who flew the plane for the first 20 minutes of its journey, but he has been named by German media as Patrick Sonderheimer. On Thursday, it emerged he had gone to the bathroom shortly after takeoff, leaving co-pilot Andreas Lubitz in charge of the aircraft. When he returned, he found the cockpit door locked. He banged repeatedly on the door in a vain attempt to regain access. Yes, security sources are saying that he then used an axe to try to break it down, you guys. I remember that now. He was married and had 2 small children and was one of our best pilots. I'm 100% sure that he did everything he could, said his former colleague. I knew him very well. He was a very good man. He had a great sense of humor. Gee, incredible. All right, there was a couple newlyweds on there. Azme Alawi married her husband on Saturday in the northeastern Spanish town of La Lagasta. The pair were moving to Germany together. The man's name has not been released. 2 Iranian reporters. They were the ones that were covering the Iranian national football team matches in Austria. They traveled to Spain for El Clasico, the match between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Their names are Hossein Yawadi and Malad Islami. They were grounded at Barcelona airport before getting on the Germanwings flight, as they did not have a return flight booked. Oh, this woman is, that's right. This was the one that I was thinking about, the young woman in her early 20s or whatever. There were 3 U.S. citizens. See that? Among 3 Americans to have died was Yvonne Selke, who worked as a contractor for the Pentagon Satellite Mapping Office. She was traveling with her adult daughter, Emily. See, mom and daughter. This is Emily. A family statement described them as 2 wonderful, caring, amazing people who meant so much to so many. The 3rd citizen killed in the crash was named as Robert Oliver, a resident of Barcelona who worked for a clothing company. There were 2 Colombians. Tejada, 33. She traveled to Barcelona to visit her partner. Medrano, 36, was an architect traveling across Europe. An Argentine couple. Both were 28. One was a bass player in a rock band and the daughter of a firefighter. Goodness sakes. Israel's foreign ministry has said 39-year-old Eyal Baum, who had been living in Barcelona, was traveling to Dusseldorf for work. 59-year-old Christian from Belgium. Oh, wow. Three Mexican citizens. A Mexican woman who had lived in Barcelona for several years was on the plane. She was traveling to Cologne to attend a food technology fair, along with some of the other Catalan passengers. The Mexican government says 2 other citizens were among the passengers. 2 Japanese. The foreign ministry in Tokyo identified the 2 Japanese passengers on board as Satoshi Nagata, a man in his 60s, and Yuniki Sato, a man in his 40s. And then, like I said before, out of the 16 students that died from Haltern, Germany, were, or no, was that in Barcelona? No, I can't remember. I think it's Germany. Haltern, Mayor. Yeah. Yeah, Germany. 14 were girls, 2 were boys. And school was in session when they found out. It says students at the school in Haltern were sent home for the day, but some returned to lay flowers and comfort each other. So Mr. Klimpo confirmed that the group was on the passenger list and said he was informed by the Spanish school they had boarded. So they were there a whole week, these students. The group had been participating in a week-long exchange at a school in Linares de Vall near Barcelona. They were flying home after having what was probably the most wonderful time of their lives. It's so tragic, so sad, so unfathomable. Yeah, so they were, to give you an idea where stuff is, Barcelona, Spain, and it crashed in France, and then Germany was right above it. Hi, Tarly. Hi. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah, things are good. Oh, fiddlesticks. Oh, gosh, it's so sad. Gosh. Here's a couple of the young girls. They're just young, you guys. God, now I feel like crying. My daughter was that age just a few years ago. I don't have wonderful internet, so it runs a little bit slow, you guys. Oops. Trigger warning, this is sad. It's a minute long.
The end of a long wait for the families of high school students killed in the Germanwings plane crash in the French Alps. Nearly 3 months later, the remains of 15 out of 16 who died arrived in a convoy of hearses in the small town of Haltern am See near Düsseldorf. 2 teachers in the group on its way back from a Spanish exchange program near Barcelona were also killed in the crash.
Okay, I'm going to start that over. It's 23 seconds in and the kitty jumped up here.
The end of a long wait for the families of high school students killed in the Germanwings plane crash in the French Alps. Nearly 3 months later, the remains of 15 out of 16 who died arrived in a convoy of hearses in the small town of Haltern am See near Düsseldorf. 2 teachers in the group on its way back from a Spanish exchange program near Barcelona were also killed in the crash. The first burials are due to take place on Friday. Parents
Darn it. So sad.
and relatives had been able to view the coffins earlier and join the cortege on its journey home. The remains of 44 German victims had landed at Düsseldorf on Tuesday night after being flown from Marseille in a plane operated by Lufthansa, Germanwings' parent company. This week, relatives are reportedly due to meet the lead French investigator into the crash. The process of identifying
Oh, gosh.
all 150 people who died was completed last month. After examining cockpits, voice and data recorders, investigators concluded that the co-pilot had deliberately crashed the plane.
Be alright.
This remote crash site high in the French Alps has now become an epicenter of international grief. Today we're learning more about the 3 Americans, 2 from Virginia, who lost their lives here. Emily Selke and her mother Yvonne, who was a 22-year veteran of the government contracting company Booz Allen Hamilton. Emily was a proud alumni of Drexel University's Gamma Sigma Sigma Zeta sorority. On its Facebook page, The chapter posted at
Gee.
As a person and friend, Emily always put others before herself and cared deeply for all those in her life.
We can also confirm that a third U.S. citizen was on board the flight, but are not releasing the name at this time out of respect for the family.
Among the others silenced here, 34-year-old opera singer Maria Radner, who was traveling with her husband and baby. Radner had just completed performances in Barcelona with her colleague Oleg Brizak, who died alongside her.
Good grief. Yeah, it is, Tashi.
This is tearing a huge gap, and there will be scars left over.
At this headmaster's school in Germany, they are mourning the loss of 16 young students and 2 instructors. One teacher was recently married, the other engaged.
They had plans for their life, and that was changed from one minute to the next, like a burst bubble.
The school group had just finished an exchange program at this school in Spain. Outside, 2 students mourned over their
So sad.
final photo with their friends.
El viernes nos fuimos con ellos de excursión.
On Friday, we were with them all day on a field trip to the beach. They were really happy because they had never seen the ocean. It's hard to believe.
For many of the victims, death came in the prime of their lives. 28-year-old Paul Andrew Bramley from Britain was studying hospitality and set to begin an internship next week. 29-year-old mechanical engineer Greg Friday was traveling with his mother, who celebrated a birthday the day before the flight. Today, investigators scoured the grim
All right. A few more seconds.
scene to identify more passengers whose lives were cut much too short.
Beautiful, healthy-looking eyes start
Oh,
here.
stop. All right, you guys, I'm just going to end the show. It's sad. I was going to do one other one, but I just doesn't feel right. I'm going to think about the families and the victims and be even more thankful for my life, my kids' lives, all of your lives here in chat, everyone on YouTube, everyone everywhere. And maybe we all should pray for safe travels for everybody around the world. However it is, train, plane, boat, hitchhiking, some people do that still. Don't recommend it, that's for sure. All right, you guys, please hit the like. Please subscribe to me if you want to. When I started my show, I was just 2 subs away from 1,320. My goal is 1,325. So thanks for being here. I really mean that, you guys. And thanks, Tashi. Thanks, you guys. It's just really sad. I'm getting emotional, too. When you see those faces. And I think about all the times I've flown and my mother's flown. My mother flew so much, she blew her eardrum out. I never liked it. You know, like, I just never really liked it. But she's safe. I don't know. Right? All right, you guys. I love you. And thanks for coming to PCT is Extreme. See you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you for all you being here.